Hello, Sean.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Amazing. Really good.
Good.
Good day. Yeah, already. How about yourself?
Good, the same. I just think with Mondays, it's important to start them the way you mean to go on, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, so I started mine with a run and I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Sean,
Running.
thank you so much for agreeing to be a guest on Mind Yourself. When I heard you speaking 2 weeks ago, your story and you are so inspirational that I thought, wow, this is the perfect person to ask to be on this podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm honored to be here. And hopefully in this podcast we can give a lot of value to all of the listeners.
Yeah, I know you will give a lot of value. I have no doubt about that. Would you, in your own words, please introduce yourself for the listeners?
Yeah. I'm Sean Land. I'm a successful entrepreneur, so it isn't that I've come from money and money makes money, although that is a route for certain people. But for myself, it's having that thought and belief of more than my environment. So, you know, I might have been around other people who just had simple ambitions, but in my head, I was always just like, I know I can get a better job than this. I know I can get out of the PAY system. I know how I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm just focusing on how can I make it, you know.
Mhm.
So that was just the real defining difference in my sort of life. And then you get the results of, yeah, you're a 10 million pound property entrepreneur. You've got development companies. I've opened restaurants up. So just a real entrepreneur and just always trying to keep busy. And it's not it's not actually that hard as well to keep busy and still be making money. Like you can do so many different things. But I'm so excited to talk about all of this on this podcast, really. Yeah.
Oh, wow. What an introduction, Sean. I love the use of your language, successful. You've talked about thoughts and beliefs, and you've used the sentence, I know I can. So very powerful.
It's all in my subconscious.
I can hear it spilling out. The words you use are so inspirational, motivational, powerful. It's just, you can get a real sense of achievement from them.
Yeah, I think your language, that you're speaking, not just Italian, French or
Yeah.
English, the language that you are using, your body aura, that energy that you're channeling out says everything about you. That's the energy that's coming out. So if you want to think successful, you're only you know, be successful because that's what you want. And sometimes as human beings, we fail to believe that, how powerful we actually are you know.
Mm.
And I think, the brutal reality is a lot of people don't love themselves.
Hmm.
They don't have that much love and care. And to be honest, in many ways, I can say I've been selfish. I haven't given enough time to other people around me by focusing on what I want. Previous partners, I might not have been the perfect person for them because I always want to grow and people want to keep you there and they like the old version of you. So you have to be very selfish and leave people behind. You have to say, this is who I am and I'm not going to sacrifice it for anybody. And yes, my results, what everybody sees on the face of it and says, wow, that's amazing. I want that. But to get that in life is not just about following a business plan or a business pattern. It's following a lifestyle of I'm going to be this person. No one's going to stop me in my tracks. And I want this. And you have this reality of how you want to build your life. And so you accommodate other people to come into that like a puzzle rather than you having to think about what other people want. So it is a very selfish way. And I do want that to come across. I do want people to know that side of it as well, because people don't
Hmm.
talk about it. Everyone's just like, yeah, I've got the house I want, car I want, this I want. But because you're consistently, creating what you want to in your life, you know, yeah, I think I'll let you come in with another question or something before I run
No,
out
I
of
love it.
tangent,
I like
you
this. I
know?
like this tangent we're going down, Sean, because the word selfish has so many negative connotations towards it, doesn't it? Like when you say selfish, it instantly gives you a negative feeling, but it doesn't have to be. Like self-care, self-love, self-belief. They're all things that are really celebrated and encouraged nowadays. And like you said, I believe if you want to be your highest self, you have to stop the external focus and focus internally.
100, absolutely. I totally agree with you there, because this is what I said, when we're not selfish, we're
Mhm.
always caring about what my partner wants. We're always caring about what my children want. We're always caring about what my friends need, or my work colleagues, or people who you do things for. You always, when do you stop and think, hang on, my feet are not in the best sort of
Yeah.
care right now. When was the last time? Why can't I just spend half an hour with me and just
Mhm.
clean my own feet, and you make myself look more pretty and feel good and in touch with myself? When was the, last time I actually said, I'm not gonna buy this for other people. I'm gonna spend this money on me. Or I'm not gonna save for this asset today. I'm gonna spend this on me because I want it right now. You know,
Mhm.
and we need to think more like that, and a lot of us don't. And when you do start feeling like you're more selfish, then you're really showing self-love, because you're saying, I love myself and I care about myself, and I want to make sure that I'm in the best position. Am I feeling good? Is my health right? Have I got the vitamins, minerals? Am I deficient in something? Have I been aware of that? Because sometimes we think, how do all of these new diseases come about? How does all these cancers come about? All starts from stress.
Mhm.
And when you get stressed, your body gets confused. When your body gets confused, it reprograms the genetic makeup of yourself, and all of a sudden you get in trouble. And I do believe, it does come from that. And people say money is evil, but I'm telling you, money does also solve a lot of problems, like your mortgage, like what your partner needs, what your kids needs, what your kids need, like that security. When you don't have that on your shoulders, you can actually truly be you. You can
Mhm.
show yourself. It either, people say money changes people. No, money reveals people. And then that's when you really find who you are yourself. Can you still remain humble? Can you still have these millions and still just stand up in a normal queue and just saying, I'm nothing special? That's just
Mhm.
what I've achieved in monetary value. Yes, it gives me security, it gives me some sort of happiness, it gives me a good lifestyle. But can I still be happy without money and stand in a normal queue? And when you can do that truly in life, one, it shows you that you're a true human being, because that's what we are, and second of all, it just shows, your humility and saying, I'm still a good human and money didn't change me.
That's such a beautiful awareness, Sean. Such a beautiful awareness. It just shows that it's not just an abundance of wealth that you have, like you said, but it's spirituality as well. And that's so important.
Yeah. I
So
totally.
we've gone off on so many exciting little tangents already. I love it. But if we go back a bit, what was your childhood like and what were you like as a child?
Yeah. So as a child, I was very stupid. I was dumb, purely because I was born in a household where the boys are treated like trophies. Wow, like
Mhm.
give it to the boy first. And I had no awareness that I was treated a little bit more special, if that makes sense. So I had two older sisters, then it was me, then there's my little sister. And so it was for a long time, it was just us until my brother came another 10 years later. But, you know, being in that surroundment, I think maybe being around women really maybe more empathetic. I was
Mhm.
always at home with mum and three sisters. So I was just always surrounded by women. So you'd always have to be, oh, can you go and get that from the shop, Sean? Come on, you're the guy. Oh, can you go over McDonald's? And that was a 25-minute walk then. And back. And I was always had to do the manly things, but then also watch all the soaps, and Coronation Street, EastEnders, Brookside. Always had to be next to my mom watching. Can we watch something? No, okay, cool. We only had one TV. They were the best days. The
Yeah.
best days, and you'd play with your brothers and sisters. It wasn't like the TV or devices were on. You'd find things to do with each other. Most of the time was fighting, but you'd find things. My sister would be making some cooking and stuff. So that's how loving it was at home. However, as soon as I left the home and I went to school, I had to go to this scary space, school. you know, um, I was a little bit chubby, little bit overweight, and you know, my nickname was Fat Boy, you know, and people always say, oh, fat boy, all the time. So didn't really feel good, but there wasn't
Mm.
really physically attacking me, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So yeah, so secondary school was quite brutal, really. I didn't really watch football at home. I didn't follow football, so all the boys would just talk about football, and I'd be the odd one out. But I was okay with that because, you know, I had this other bit of my life where I'd go to my dad's shop, and then I'd see Uncle John, Dave, my dad, customers, regulars, and they treated me very, very different. Like outside of school, life is different, you know.
Mm.
So I had happiness there. So I always used to do a shift in the shop. So even I'd finish 3:30, as I'm going past the shop at 4 o'clock, they'd always whistle for me. I'd come in and do anything in there. And we did that with no money or anything. So I had these split two little lives. And as a, you know, 13-year-old, I was a fully qualified shopkeeper already. I knew how to
Hmm.
speak to customers. I knew how to scan bills. Sometimes my granddad or my uncle couldn't speak English or read English too well, so I'd be like, "I'll read that for you," and I
Hmm.
think they're saying this, and it goes, and then they'll piece it up with their puzzle, and they go, "Oh yeah, that's all we do. Oh, I just want to know this little last bit," and just by educating myself with real life, it's like I'm 10 years ahead of everybody already. So it's
Mm.
really an unfair advantage, you know, that I had. I had all of these thoughts and beliefs from my granddad and father right next to me, downloaded at that age.
Wow.
Spending 24/7, just sit down because we'd just have dinner together behind the counter, and then he'd have to do this thing called work in between, which was normal. So all my belief systems broken down before they've even taught me anything. That work isn't a 9 to 5 thing. It's a lifestyle. We choose to sit here, eat our dinner here, talk to a couple of people, and we sell a few things at the same time. It's a lifestyle. It's a sociable thing. Your family can come and see you. It was just like it broke down every single wall to what work was. So I was weird after that because everyone looks at me and go, "Why do you always talk about work?
Mm.
Why do you have 2 jobs?" Because my belief system was like, but I like going to that job. I get a free burger on my lunch break on that one. And then I like working in the bank. Well, not too much, but they pay me a lot of money and I can buy assets, you know. So it's a totally different way of thinking. There's no book, there's no quote that I'm following. I'm just following from deep in my subconscious of work isn't something that's stressful and hard. It's a challenge. It's a new game every day, you know? So when I open a new business, it's a new game.
Mm.
Like, how do I get that counselor? How do I get that counsel to help me out? Where do I get the relationship manager from? Where do I get the operator? How do I piece this thing up? You know, when I saw a house 2 days ago, 3-story house, it took me 30, 40 minutes analyzing the property to know how much the whole build was going to cost for me. Oh, there's a lintel missing above the a bay window. Never done that before. Message 3, 4 guy who goes, yep, just need a reinforced concrete, plaster that, that'll be all good. Wow, that's a £200 job. And this is what's taking 100 grand off this property. Now I can make some money, you know? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, as I'm saying, like, that's how life should be. You know, as I
Hmm.
talk, as I just talk about these things, you can see the excitement. You can see that nothing's rehearsed or written. It's just coming
Hmm.
from a place that I'm excited to wake up every day because I get to live this life.
Sean, I could hear that, and it's so contagious. And you mentioned the sense of excitement, which I was going to ask you about now. That sense of excitement and that way of thinking of calling it a challenge, was that your immediate thought about work from when you started in your dad's shop?
The thought that comes through when I thought about work
Hmm.
is just a way to prove, for example, to my father of how successful he is.
Hmm.
That's the feeling that I get. So I feel the better job, business, or more money I can make, I'm still trying to prove to him that I'm worthy of being his son. That he gave me all these opportunities,
Hmm.
best brain to don't do this, do that, don't do that, do this. Oh, you can get relief like that. Like my personal advisor, my personal mentor. I didn't even know what a mentor was. And when I actually found mentors out there, I'm like, these lot are nothing compared to my dad,
Wow.
or my granddad, and I'm like, and I get to have that. So what results am I going to achieve this? Because if I just stop here, I'm a
Mhm.
failure, really. Like that's the mindset. And obviously my bank account's full of money and I've got houses all over the place, but you could lose it overnight. But the mindset isn't like I've got all of that. It's like, hey,
Mhm.
my company owns that and my children will take over at one stage. I might be
Mhm.
able to enjoy that little bit if I get a few then paid off. And now it's time to start enjoying. But the mindset doesn't register that it's just money, money, money. The mindset just
Mm.
register what's my next challenge? How can I do
Yeah.
different and say, look, I wasn't a shopkeeper like you or a landlord like you. I've now created this, and this makes billions. Like that's what
Yeah.
I know. I clocked the game in my realm, so that's where it sort of comes from. Of yeah, and a lot of people don't have that relationship with their parents.
No.
You know, um, they might even have a loving, a caring relationship, but a lot of people don't even talk about money on the table. They won't speak about money on how to manage money, how to make money, any of that language is not spoken about. And I think that's a great disadvantage, because money is what makes the whole world go round. And I think people think it's cruel when you get someone to work young. They think it's cruel when you start talking about money and you're different, self-centered. You're cruel if you don't talk about these topics because your child is going to go into the big bad world and not know what APR is or what a credit card is. And like my sister, she said, when I first time I got a credit card, I thought they were giving me free money.
Mm.
Where's that education,
Yeah.
So
I agree. And we need to know about it, Sean, as well, don't we? Because knowledge is power. And like you just gave the example of your sister, if we don't know what we're doing, these financial institutions are set up in a way to confuse us, purposefully maybe, aren't they? So we need the knowledge. The knowledge is the power that we need.
yeah, 100%. And I think every time like you have a challenge, just look at yourself in the mirror and just say, I can do this.
Mm.
Yeah, I can really do this. I can really go. And that's what your focus needs to be. And when you do that, everything in front of you that's trying to confuse you all of a sudden won't be confused,
That's
you know,
beautiful. The word
because,
self again.
yeah. And it's just like, I know there's a challenge here, but I can do this and that's it. So
Yeah.
no one's against us. No
Yeah.
one, it's just a game we need to clock,
I
like,
love that. That's it. Draw the line. I can do this.
yeah.
Yeah. Sean, it's so beautiful the way you speak about your dad and your granddad. It's so heartwarming and it's just beautiful to listen to. But I know from listening to you before that you had one of your thoughts at the time was, I'm working in this job maybe because of my dad, and I want to find my own way. And if I remember correctly, that's what started you in your role in McDonald's.
Yes. So I worked in the cash and carry at the age of 13, but my
Mm-hmm.
dad got me that job. It was where
Mm-hmm.
he went shopping for the shop, where he sells one item, he buys it in bulk from this place. And that's where I started working at 13. And I started picking up heavy items, scanning them, putting them next trolleys. So I learned how to make these bills. Sometimes a customer order would come in and I'd have to put it on this wooden pallet on the floor. And as I'm lining it all up, then you shrink wrap it, which is this plastic around it. We used to use a pump truck to unload containers, or sometimes these containers would come and we used to climb inside, and I could climb all the way to the top. Then it's just full up of stuff that used to come from Jamaica. So it was like a real adventure at the age of 13 that, whoa, I get to do this. And it's better than the shop because I get paid and I
Yeah.
get to different people and we get to have lunch together. And trust me, like you wouldn't think of having lunch with some of these people, but some of them were illegal that were there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Maciek, I'm from Poland, I'm, Mustafa, I'm from Africa. Like, but you see everyone's different foods, and they were like, we cooked this last night, and we're like, all right, let me have a bit of that. And then you can have a bit of this. Like, it was all about experience of my lunchtime. I got to have a lunchtime with different people, and this is wow, like, you know, um, making bills, making orders, and then occasionally, because I learned just how to be lazy at work.
Mm-hmm.
So there used to be this thing where one of the trucks used to go to Birmingham and back, which is about 2 hours. And every time that happened, the driver only needs to be awake. The mate can just be asleep, and there was a bed above the driver's seat. So I used to go straight in just an hour early, go straight to the top, go to sleep. 3 hours later, it's like we're in Birmingham. We do some work. And then by that time, I open my flask up and have my hot cup of tea, like on the way back. And I'm like, I get paid for this? Like,
Yeah.
this is, who doesn't want to do this? Just 1 hour early, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you can't do this. So I
Mm.
just tore down them belief system that I don't need sleep. But I learned more skills all along the way. I met drivers who were more intelligent, who had to do HGV courses. Like everything is like, what can I learn of you? What can I learn of you? What can I learn of you?
Mm.
Like I could be I'm next to people all the time where I'm inquisitive and ask questions, and they answer it and they just think I'm a normal guy. Like they just don't know anything about my life. And I like to play life like that and just ask
Yeah.
questions, even if it's just a language. It's like, oh, what does that mean in your language? Like, teach me more about that. Like, it's just about being inquisitive all the time rather than trying to show your ego that I'm better than you or I've got more
Hmm.
money than you.
Yeah. I don't sense any ego at all from you, Sean. Not at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. I did that cash and carry, and then at the age of 16, I've realized I need to get my own job. I
Hmm.
put my CV out and I got a job in McDonald's. And in McDonald's, that was a really, really great journey of my life. I met Jason Bryant, who was my store manager. I nearly got sacked on the first day, because I don't learn very fast, but once I get it, I excel really fast in it. Um, but within 3 months, I was training other people, training squad. And then within 12 months, the following summer, I became a manager there, to be honest. And then I did that management job for the next 12 years till the age of 30. So I always used to do it on my days off or on Saturday, Sunday. So that's how much I enjoyed. And I worked in 3 different stores. I'd give the lowest labor, lowest food cost, you know, um, everyone would have had their breaks, everyone got home on time, and you had this target of 16% labor. I'd always give it 12 or 13 because sometimes that fast to do 3 different jobs myself.
Hmm.
So it was also like a game. How do I give the best labor on that? On Sean's shift, 13% labor. He saved the store money, and just training people. So it was really, really fun challenge that.
It's lovely. And you know what's beautiful to listen to, Sean? Every job and every role that you've had, you just take so much learning from it. Whether it's sleeping in a truck, working in the cash and carry, working in McDonald's. I know you went on to work in Barclays and excel there as well. And I love the way that you've just taken learning from every role and every opportunity in your life.
Because that's what it is. Every day you wake up is an opportunity.
Yeah.
You need to just channel from that and go, I woke up. That's an opportunity. That's an opportunity. You need to open your eyes from the get-go and go, opportunity, not, oh, we have to do this again.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do this today. What the? Somebody didn't wake up today. Somebody.
Hmm.
And when you start from that thought, maybe it's a bit morbid, but
Yeah.
it's a reality. And you can't fool nobody. You're just
It,
fooling yourself.
I agree. Every morning I wake up as well. I go through the gratitudes in my head, and the first one I say, Sean, is I am grateful that I woke up this morning, because, like you, I'm aware that there's people who aren't waking up. It's the first gift we have in the morning, isn't it? Opening our eyes.
100.
It is. So you've worked through all these jobs, and your amazing mindset is just so evident and contagious and infectious. It's just beautiful to listen to. When did you become aware that you could create your own success?
It's always a journey and it's less of a destination.
Hmm.
I have to say that. So it isn't like, you know, well, what is made it? So if you
Yeah.
don't have that stopper, then you're never gonna make it. You're just gonna carry on. As I say, it's something you have to be consistent at, and it's
Hmm.
something that a lifestyle. So I suppose when I had my full-time job, Monday to
Hmm.
Friday, and I kept getting promoted and climbed the rank by 23, I was on 70,000. And at the same time, I could handle my McDonald's job for £7 an hour, and I did it just for fun on a Saturday and a Sunday. When I put that money and stayed disciplined into savings accounts, and then after juggling this, I put another pressure on myself by buying a house.
Mm.
So I've got one job I need to go Monday to Friday, one job I need to go Saturday and Sunday. But where's the time for this house? How do I manage that now? Because it's like one business, two business, and third business is now coming in my mind, because it's like a game. And how many how many plates can I spin at the same time?
Mm.
Then I did this thing, buying a house. It was very stressful, very hard, a lot of paperwork, had to deal with solicitor letters at a
Mm.
very young age. Like, what does this land search mean? What's land registry? What's this? And you just had to go like this and just go along with it most of the time. And then all of a sudden, you have to show love to this thing like your baby. It's your house. You have to decorate it. You have to rent it. You got to get the certificates done. And if you don't do it, you're getting in trouble because you're
Mhm.
responsible. And it's like the first sort of thought of having a child is when you have a business, because it needs you all the time. So you can't just walk away from it. You can't forget about it. You can't just put the shutter down for a day. It'll get on top of you. You get too many emails. So that's what I learned. And it was actually a light way to learn, because once you do a property up, it's all passive after that.
Mhm.
You get it to standard, you get the right people managing it. Supposedly, you've done your references and you've got a good tenant. I realized for 7 years, I don't need to go back. And it was just money in that account. So that's when I knew that I had a blueprint, a
Mm.
formula. And that is when I thought, I got this. I know what to do. Put this on steroids now, because you've got that asset class that you really wanted. Now selling that asset class, that's the big time. That's the big money. It's not the penny sweet shop. It's not you have to be 7 in the morning till 10 at night and everything. I'll
Mhm.
make 10p on that, 2p on that. And then this little mindset where you're always constrained. It was, you own that building opposite, and it's giving you money every single month, and
Mhm.
you're not even there. That's when I realized that's what I need to get into. And when I bought the first one, I was like, we got this. Second, third came, fourth came, 26. I was a millionaire, left my full-time job, became a builder. And
Mm.
again, is this thing that ego could have stopped me from doing that. Hey, I've got a suit and tie. People respect me in central London. People call me bank manager. People take me to the private club, members club, and let's play some squash. Or, but no, I left that and went, this doesn't serve me anymore, because I'm getting all this property money and I'm getting all of this money from my side hustles. Why am I gonna kill myself working for somebody else? 8 in the morning, 8 in the evening, coming back, panda eyes where I'm looking a bit aged, a bit tired. And it was like, no, I'm gonna come back. And I got this thing, property. This guy's telling me 100,000 to, sorry about that.
Okay.
This guy's giving me 100,000 pounds quote for this extension, but I know
Mm.
it's not worth that. I've looked at some of the material and it's like 1,000 there, 100 there, 400 there. So again, I had to do this thing, leave my job.
Mhm.
I had to do this building. So I bought this property for 197,000,
Mhm.
and then I had to spend another 50 on it. So I bought this house. So it's cost me money. I haven't rented it out yet. And now I'm going to spend more money. So when do I get paid? That's what I was thinking. So anyway, I done this building job. I think it should have been about 120, 130,000. I got it done in 60,000 myself. Foundations, brickwork, roof works, like a puzzle, insulation, plasterboards, electrics, what goes what around, plumbing, flooring, right from start to finish. And it was one of the hardest things I've done, managing people and getting the right person at the right time as well.
Mhm.
But I finished that project, and the mortgage advisor called me a month later or so, and he said, your remortgage has come up for that property. And I went, yeah. And he goes, oh, I'm looking at the book value here, and it's not worth 197 anymore. It's worth 550,000. And I'm like, one, that was good time in the market.
Hmm.
Two, I added some value and uplifted it. And it was the first time he was like, "Do you want a check for 150 grand? You'll only pay a couple of £100 extra on the mortgage, but you can do something else with that money." And I went, I can put this, I don't just need to be at work and save and then get this asset and save the rent and my money. Occasionally I get to refinance this and put this on steroids and make more of them like that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the game just went up a level, you know? So it's like, that's it. So took the houses and yeah, just bought two more. I knew the formula, how much
Yeah.
percentage. I said, I'll have two more, please. Like that one, that one. And every single time I bought, I always bought it where the windows needed doing, where
Hmm.
the floorboards were rotten or there wasn't a kitchen and it looked like an old person that just,
Mm.
had their time. And I got to bring these back to life with my mind. I was the builder, I was the interior designer, I was, the project manager. I'm the guy who's brokering all the materials, all the relationships, operation. I was the van driver. I was like everything, It was like, yes, let's make the best building company. And I done project after project after project, free of my own, I made a lot bigger at a fraction of the price. So instead of
Wow.
these 120, 130,000, I got some of these done for 38 grand. How? By rolling up my sleeves and not having pride and going to a one build and going, what do you need? Oh, sand, cement. Okay, 4 buckets of sand, half a cement, little bit of liquidizer. Is that the right consistency? Okay, now I've got it. Oh, you won't be able to do this. Yes, I will. Just show me once.
Hmm.
Okay, is that the consistent? I know what to do next time. And oh, we're gonna plaster this room. Oh, I need someone to mix my plaster. Yeah, I've got the mixer, electric mixer, and I know exactly how to mix it. And I'll put it on your trouble for you. So, and then I also learned, oh, thing that's stopping him down is not leveling it, it's just getting it on the wall. So sometimes I
Mm.
make a big bucket in the middle and go, we're both putting it. I know how to put it on the wall, but I don't want to spend like the 7, 8 years at school learning how to plaster like perfectly. But if I can just get it on the wall for you, I save 1 day of your labor, which means I've saved
Mm.
150 quid. So I was just like, what's the trade-off here?
Yeah.
Go and learn how to be a builder. Well, by the time you're 20 years, you learn how to be a builder. You'll be all wrinkly. You'll be really hard worked and wear and tear.
Mm.
Get them to do it. You just put the puzzle together and occasionally help them. And don't go gym that day. That day, I'm doing something physical. My body's moving around. I'm not going gym and treat it like your gym. So I'm being
Yeah.
busy working so hard, but this is my workout for the day.
Mm.
I'm lifting, I'm pushing, I'm whatever it was. But some of them days were really, really hard because you'd have people who don't turn up, and you had to
Yeah.
work really, really hard yourself and stuff. So you had to always make sure that on the outside everything was running smoothly, and then the inside
Yeah.
only this person takes it and go, oh, let me call somebody else, let me do this, let me do that. Can I get a machine? Or I have to broker myself in as well. So you got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, and you say it on the inside, and on the inside, it's evident that you're there with your can-do attitude, and everything that was thrown at you, you're like, I can, and I will. And
Yes,
like you said earlier, draw the line. That's it. I can, and I will.
yes, that's well.
Yeah, I love that.
You're analyzing it from a third person, a third eye. So as I say, this is just from my subconscious. Just
Mm.
I don't remember what I say. I just let it flow.
Yeah.
For you to capture it on the other side, you can evidently see. And that's the most
Yeah.
important thing, because if you can identify what these things are, then
Hmm.
surely you'd want some of that.
Absolutely. It's like Steve Jobs used to say, isn't it? When you're looking back, you can easily join the dots, but at the time, you can't join the dots.
Yeah,
It's only hindsight. Yeah. So
love
you
it.
know when you bought your first house, Sean, when you said that that was your third project when you were working in the bank and in McDonald's, when you initially thought about buying your first house, was it for personal use or as a business?
So it was for personal use at the
Hmm.
start. And then within a few months, I realized it was a stupid idea because it started
Yeah.
taking money out of my pocket. And I was better off giving my mum £300, £400 to stay at home towards the shopping and stuff.
Hmm.
And everything's taken care of, Like it's a benefit for everybody, The expenses are easy at home, and then we flex in and out with all of our strengths. Um,
Yeah.
but yes, moved and done the kitchen, done some decoration. And after 2, 3 months, I'm like, I'm not saving like I was. I've lost the momentum. Like, okay, I'll go to work, but then I come home, then I'm cooking, and then bills, and then mortgage, and wow, like, so now all this money that comes in, some of it's gone out straight away in a big lump, and it's like, that's not how it's supposed to be.
I don't like
So
this.
yeah, exactly. And even when parents were missing me and they were like, why don't you come home? Like, you're still
Mm.
young, you got a chance to get ahead. Think about it. If you rent it, just rent it for 8 months or a year. At least it'll give you another maybe deposit or something. And so that's what I did. I just asked the bank, I went, don't really want to live here. And they go, well, we can give you a permission to let. And it's a check for £295. I was like, oh, okay, is that it? And they go, yeah, at the renewal, let us know and we'll change it to a proper buy to let. So I switched it over for 300 quid and I've sort of became an accidental landlord.
Mm.
And then I'll go, wow, I rented it for 1,000. My mortgage is 500. I make 500 just like that. Five
Wow.
quid, and it's passive. Like, I'm at work here and I work here, but every month I look on that account, there's extra 500 quid in there. And all I did was put 14 or 15,000 pounds of my money over there. Wow. Like, there is something else out there.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of this. If you're afraid of this, you're an idiot. Like, you need to say, embrace this, embrace it,
Yeah. Come
get
on
more
over.
into that side, and then
Come.
next minute you sit with your accountant and they're going, yeah, we need to do your property account. Um, have you got a mobile phone? Yeah, well, let's deduct that because you make all your business calls on. Okay. Right. So do you ever work out where's your office? I don't have an office. Okay, give me your house bills and let's put a portion through that for the business. Because surely you can claim some of it back. Do
Mhm.
you drive to the properties? Yeah. Let's claim 31p per mile on this or whatever it was. That was a random number, by the way.
Yeah.
Or somebody goes, "Ah, it's only 6p, man."
31p.
But it was just like a new game. There's a new
Yeah.
chessboard. It's not even on the same chessboard. Like, we're playing drafts or checkers here, and there's chess over there. That's the real game. You
Yeah.
know,
It's like a cheat code to life, isn't it? It's like a little cheat code.
yeah,
And you can do it on your terms.
that nobody wants you to get into. That is the
Yeah.
scariest thing, and 99% of businesses fail. Really, do they?
Yeah.
You fail.
That's it, isn't it? That's it. All these things are made out to be so complex. And Sean, I don't know about you, but I believe that life is as simple or as complicated as we make it.
Very true.
And keeping it simple is usually the best way.
It's all in there.
All inside.
That's your reality, you know.
Hmm.
When people say, what's your environment like? Let's start with in here before you even look externally. What's going on in here? What are your thoughts? Are they
Yeah.
negative or positive? Do you see the glass half full or half empty? What are you consuming for this? Are you
Hmm.
consuming books? Are you consuming documentaries? Or are you consuming scrolling all day and pointless conversations or speaking about other people in the bar or the pub or, you know, that's where it starts.
Mm.
Once you filter this and you become pure, everything becomes pure because you live a life of that. That's your outer, then what you is the last bit that you show actually.
Absolutely. I think Henry Ford sums it up beautifully with his quote, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I
Yes.
love that one. It's so simple, but so powerful, isn't it?
100, 100.
So,
Beautiful.
Sean, when you were talking about your property company and how it accidentally but didn't accidentally start, I love that. You talked about the blueprint and the formula that you follow. When you started, did you watch other people, how they did it and copy bits of their formulas, or did you just jump into it and find your own way?
Sort of jumped in there and did it my own
Mm.
way, but I'd always get a second opinion from my father or my uncle or my granddad. So I was very lucky, and that potentially was my mentor. My dad
Mm.
never looked at the first property I bought. I said, "Can you please come to the viewing?" And he's like, "No, if you think
Yeah.
it's good, go for it." And then he put it in my mind that,
Mm.
so what? If you bought something wrong, we'll sell it.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So how wrong can it go? You just sell it.
Yeah.
Hold on for a little bit. And when he did see it, it was like a test because he goes, not bad. And they looked at the garden and he goes, yep, you can get a 6 by 6 meter extension. I'm like, I've just bought the house. You were talking about extensions already. Like, what the hell? But he could see in the future, 3 years later, that's what I was doing. I was doing a big extension in the back, and now it's a care home, that house, it's a lot bigger, and it's serving the community. And yeah, so that's how that deal happened anyway. So yeah.
And the formula you learned yourself, the formula that you found your own way, like you said, is that the same formula you use now for every property, Sean?
So yeah, that formula evolves, and it
Mm-hmm.
evolved every property. So it was just a decoration. Next one was a kitchen. The next one was a full floorboards, and then we had to get, plasters in, or oh shit, we need an electrician here, or oh, I should have done that first. Now I have to pull that up. It's a learning curve. And that formula now is just like, right, go into a property. Let me check the structure first of all. Right,
Mm-hmm.
structure, all good. Or how do we strengthen that up? Next thing, electrics. Is there enough electric? The newest electric. Do we have to pull this out in five years or something? Okay, next thing, plumbing. Is the boiler good? Radiator is good. Do they need a power flush or extra radiators? And then once that's good, then the woodwork. The woodwork's good. Then you got kitchen, bathroom installation, and then all right, last people snagging guys, paint it, get out. Like it's a
Yeah.
formula. So now it's more like, well, I know how the whole piece works. Now I just need to get my electrician to go in there. I've got 4 of them. Which one am I calling or getting quotes of? Then I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting that person, and then it's just about timing. Is what time do I send? Okay, so plastering is going to be done this week. It's going to take them 4 or 5 days. Electrician, are you free the following week? These people should be finished then. Like it's just a masterful formula in my head that just works like clockwork. And even the builders go,
Mm-hmm.
how did the work will finish so quick? Because I'm like 10 times ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a formula, and it still will carry on evolving. You know, um,
I love that.
because the stock we look at is different as well now. So you
Mm-hmm.
at HMOs, working professional, small rooms, flats,
Mm-hmm.
multiple dwellings, and the next one might get more into development sort of thing. So again, it will change. It means I have to be even less on the job, if that makes sense, and have
Mm-hmm.
contractors who manage all of these people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the complexities, managing the complexities.
Yes. So I've got to wrap up very shortly because I need to leave the
Yes.
house. And
Okay, this is amazing. I usually finish by asking 3 questions. Would that be okay? Would you have time for 3 quick questions?
let's do it.
Thank you. I could just keep talking to you, Sean. I'd have a million questions to ask.
We can do this again. So
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. So if there's someone listening that is in the same or a similar position that you were in when you were like between school and work life, when you were just starting out and you were, between not enjoying school and starting to enjoy work, what would you like to say to them?
is be happy. Very, very important to be happy.
Yeah.
No point talking about work if that's not going to make you happy. You got to do what you're happy. You do what makes you happy. So when you do something you're passionate, you're happy, you're inspired by, you then become the best at that. You know, there's so many people who, you know, are successful in this world for different reasons.
Mhm.
This weekend we just saw Alexandra Usyk become the unified, undisputed heavyweight champion of the
Yeah.
world, and he's on the headlines. He's successful
Mhm.
in his life. You know, then you got 100-meter runner. You got Usain Bolt who done the fastest 100 meters, and he's successful in that. So you just got to look around you and say, hey, there's not just one thing that can be successful. Like when my children go, I want to do singing and I want to do drama. I know it's a tough industry, but I want them to have that opportunity to go and then do it. If because I know
Yeah.
you look excited about it, you look happy about it. Why shouldn't you get to do that? You should. I should allow you to do that, and maybe you'll make it the best.
Mhm. That's beautiful. Thank you, Sean, for that. The next question is, what have you yourself learned about life?
Say again.
What have you learned about life?
The thing I learned about life is it never stops ceasing to surprise you.
Mhm.
There's always a curveball around the corner, and there's always a happy moment also coming around the corner. One, you got to be patient for that happy moment, and two, you got to be ready for that curveball moment. Sometimes you can't stay ready, but one thing, don't ever think that you know this thing called life. You're not a creator. You don't know what energies flow, and everything can be taken away in a second, whether that's family, money, friendships.
Hmm.
People you started with won't be the people you finish with 100%. So don't take life for granted. Don't take the people around who you care about so much for granted. Um, and never think you never need anybody. You always need some.
Mm.
You will always need somebody. We are human beings. We are from communities. Mental health starts happening when you're alone and you're in front of a computer screen and you've got no one to
Mm.
speak to, and you feel lonely. Then you go inside and we are that sort of person. So find your tribe, find your community, banter with them, and be around people who elevate you and emphasize who you are.
I love it. These answers are amazing. Thank you. And the final one, Sean, what do you think is the secret to life?
Secret to life is simplicity, because we are only supposed to become one with the higher. You're supposed to meditate, you're supposed to have thoughts, and just with that oneness. All this else, what we see around us is technology, everything, it's all made up. Someone's mind made this, someone's mind said that we want to get the connection through these telescopic optical fiber. This is all made up. Yeah. So
Hmm.
these things will never give you happiness because it's not true. It's not what we evolved from. It's just something we've done as a skill. So always just remember there's trees outside and grass outside, and how the hell does that thing grow? What chemical, what ingredient? Like that is what life really is. Life,
Yeah.
that's life, because life is happening. Something's living, growing, and guess what? It's got this ability to give you like oxygen, and you got the ability to come out with carbon dioxide. That
Hmm.
is that is amazement. And when you can find like happiness in that form, then that's actually, it sounds simple, but it's actually quite complex as well. Do you know?
Yeah.
So just what are you consuming? Are you consuming nature, or you consuming something what is false and not real, and you think it's supposed to be real, and you're in this thing called Matrix. So yeah, don't take life too seriously.
Yeah. I love that. And I love that we brought it full circle and you brought it back to the self again.
Yeah.
I love that. Sean, it's been an absolute honor speaking to you. Thank you so much for being so inspirational and for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.